Oh my God. Oh man. Damn, that is so good. Oh man, I could eat this whole thing. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Roll for Cake. No, I'm not wearing a shirt, and no, I won't put one on. Chat, we are so back. We're in a new place, new space. I'm ready to get back to baking and making some weird and wacky videos. Now, here at Roll for Cake, the dice pick the combos, my baking skills do their best, and then we create, bake, taste, and rate these weird and wacky flavor combinations. If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian and I'm an amateur baker. So if you're here looking for professional skills or someone that has some semblance of an idea of what they're doing, you're in the wrong place. I'm just here to throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. Anyway, to get you up to speed on what we do here, at the end of each episode, we roll 4 20-sided dice, each relating to a category: cake type, cake flavor, frosting type, and frosting flavor. And then the results of these 4 dice rolls decide on the creation that we will have in this week's episode. Now, a quick refresh on last week's rolls. We rolled a coffee mud cake with a matcha mirror glaze. Now, a mud cake, I'd wager, is probably one of the cakes that most of you are familiar with. Like, who has any idea what the fuck a Genoise sponge is? I certainly don't. So pray to whatever you believe in, we don't roll that one. Mud cake, I'm sure you know what that is, but just in case you don't know what a mud cake actually is, what defines a mud cake versus another cake? A mud cake is signified by its dense, rich, fudgy texture rather than this light, airy crumb of a sponge. It kind of falls somewhere between cake and brownie. Now, the way that we can achieve this mud cake-like texture is normally, instead of using a softened butter that's creamed with sugar, we'll use melted butter and melted chocolate, as well as a lower oven temperature for a longer bake time. In today's episode, accompanying this rich, heavy, moist cake, we have the punchy flavor and aroma of coffee. Look, this is probably gonna be a hard one to mess up, but try me. Now, a mirror glaze is one that most of you probably know by appearance, maybe less so by name. They're these captivating marbled liquids that are poured over a cake. They have this ultra glossy, reflective finish with this smooth, flawless surface. Now, a mirror glaze leaves us with the same kind of questions we have about Henry Cavill. Does it taste as good as it looks? Now, despite its complicated appearance, the creation of it is still rather simple. It's mainly just melted chocolate, sugar, gelatin, and condensed milk. You heat them all up together, let it cool, pour it over the cake, and you end up with this stable, sweet, creamy, gooey finish. Now, given the mirror glaze is made out of melted chocolate and condensed milk, it's gonna be quite sweet. So the addition of matcha to this should hopefully benefit quite well, with the bitterness offsetting some of the sweetness of the glaze. Flavor cohesion wise, I don't have super high hopes. They're both very distinct, different flavors. You know, I love a shot of coffee, and adding it to a matcha, I think it takes away from some of the matcha, which has that light, semi-sweet tea-like flavor. A friend of mine actually refers to this as the barista's nightmare, the inspiration for the title of this video. She works at a cafe. At one point, someone ordered a matcha with an extra shot of coffee, and she couldn't bring herself to do so. So she took it out in separate glasses and told them, you can ruin the drink yourself. I think that about covers everything. It's time to make this, shall we? Add butter, dark chocolate, sugar, and vanilla paste to a medium saucepan, and add to medium-high heat, stirring continuously until nice and smooth. Then add instant coffee to boiling water, mix, add this to the mixture, pour into a bowl, and set aside to cool. Once cool, add flour, cocoa, 2 eggs, one at a time, and mix continuously until completely homogeneous. Once mixed, pour into a pan. Realize you only need 1 pan. Put this in the oven and bake until a knife comes out of the center nice and clean. Remove from the oven and allow to cool. For the frosting, add instant coffee to heavy cream, then add some softened butter to a stand mixer and mix until pale and creamy. We're then gonna add our instant coffee cream mixture into the butter, along with salt, vanilla essence, and icing sugar in increments until completely combined. And you're left with this nice and creamy coffee buttercream. Let's put this bad boy together, shall we? Once we have finished icing our cake, put it in the freezer while we work on our mirror glaze. To start, add some gelatin to water, then add sugar, water, and condensed milk to a bowl, and heat in the microwave, stirring until smooth. Then add melted white chocolate and gelatin, which I forgot to fill. Mix, then divide this between 4 bowls. We're going to color each bowl differently, more matcha in one, less in another, black food gel in one, and then using my advanced knowledge of colors, we're going to make green out of blue and yellow, test the temperature below 32, time to pour, in layers to create our marbling effect. Pour over the chilled cake. Notice the marbling before I go and ruin it. Okay, now that that's over, it's time to reflect on what the fuck happened here. The coffee mud cake was easy mode. It came together as a really nice, moist, dense, fudgy cake. The mirror glaze, however, turned into full expectation versus reality in like the worst way possible. I had these grand ideas of this beautiful dark green, marbled, glossy, glass-like finish over the cake, and what we ended up with was someone with a sinus infection sneezed on a cake. What started out as a barista's nightmare ended up turning into Shrek's nightmare. It doesn't look great. As soon as I mixed the matcha with the mirror glaze, it changed from this nice light green to this dark forest green, which you can see is already starting to happen to this. And then I added some black food gel to one of the other mixtures to create that marbling effect, and it just took over and turned the whole thing into this dark swamp green. And even though I checked the temperature prior to pouring and it was cool enough, I don't think the glaze was cool enough to stick to the cake. So if you're making this, maybe make sure it's slightly lower than 32 degrees, because I continued to spoon on to try and make sure I got a nice layer. The more I spooned on, the more it ruined the marbling and kind of created the look that we have now. But my goal was to make sure that we had those two textures together, even though it doesn't look the prettiest. To be honest, I think this is more a skill issue, so this is on me. In order to try and make it look a little bit prettier, I did my own little mix of icing sugar and matcha powder, and I dust that over the top, which is what you can see here. But in the time it's taken me to film this, the moisture from the glaze has started to change the matcha into that dark green color. So even though it was nice and light green to begin with, it now looks like this. Hopefully it still tastes good. Fortunately for this monstrosity, I don't rate cakes based on appearance. I rate them based on taste, texture, and the cohesion of both. Unfortunately, there's nothing else left to do but to try the cake. To be honest, it doesn't actually look that bad. The mud cake looks really good. Yeah, the dark green just kind of makes it look a bit moldy and algae-ish, but honestly, I'm pretty excited now looking at it. I think it came together, once you slice into it, it came together quite nicely. So let's see how we go. Okay, the mirror glaze won't even stick on. It's like slimy as hell. Okay, that mud cake is fucking great. Oh my God, the mud cake is so good, but that coffee is so strong. That mud cake is so tasty. I cannot taste the matcha mirror glaze at all. The matcha is so subtle, and that coffee mud cake is so good. Oh my God. Oh man, the matcha is completely lost. You got to go way heavier on the matcha to get that. That coffee mud, amazing. It's sweet. It's very sweet. Damn, that is so good. Oh man, I could eat this whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna go tidy this up, and then I'll come back and we will rate and score the cake and roll for next week's episode. It's time to rate and score the cake. Taste-wise, it was beautiful. It was really nice, chocolatey, really coffee-forward, punchy mud cake. It was really, really tasty. Downside is you couldn't taste the matcha, but as a flavor-wise, it was great. It was probably a little too sweet. We've used an American buttercream with a rich, dense, fudgy mud cake. I love sweets, I don't mind. It is very, very sweet, so I can't give it a perfect score anyway. So I'd probably say taste-wise, 9. Texture-wise, yeah, you've got this fudgy, moist, dense mud cake, and then you've got this creamy buttercream. And then, I mean, you've got the mirror glaze. You don't even notice it. The mirror glaze has this gooey sliminess to it, which by itself can be a bit weird, but you don't notice it in the mix. So it doesn't really do anything. I do like some textural variations within my cake, like some kind of crunch or bite to it. So I guess with the sliminess of the mirror glaze and the lack of textural variations, again, I've got to knock a point off. So when it comes to texture, 9. Now flavor cohesion, that's where this kind of loses the points. You don't notice the matcha at all. It doesn't help, also doesn't subtract. So it's not good because it doesn't provide any positive benefit, but also doesn't subtract to it. So I've got to give it a dead on even average score of probably a 5. So flavor cohesion, that's where I think this cake gets let down, just because the matcha is so completely lost by the strong punchiness of the coffee. It's not bad at all. It's just coffee is so forward, which is lovely if you love coffee, but in this experiment, when we're trying to make the two flavors come together, it just fell flat. That gives us a total score of 23 out of 30, or 7.6, which we have a spot for. So 7.6. Honestly, really lovely cake. That coffee mud cake is awesome. So I mixed a couple of recipes together to create the mud cake. I'll post in the link below so you can make it too. I'd probably make it. If you like coffee and you like mud cakes, this tastes great. If you like sweet, again, really good. If you're not fond of overly sweet sweets, maybe avoid it. But that mud cake is beautiful. Just don't worry about the Matcha Mirror Glaze. It doesn't add anything. It just adds effort. It's not worth it. It doesn't even make it look pretty. It's like the worst of both worlds. Coffee mud, beautiful. Matcha Mirror Glaze, waste of time. I think that about covers the coffee mud with the Matcha Mirror Glaze, which means it's time to roll for next week's cake. Starting with cake time. Tres leches. Oh boy. Cake flavor. Biscoff. Frosting type. Fudge. Oh my God. Frosting flavor. Pandan. Oh boy. Okay. We have a Biscoff tres leches with a pandan fudge. Well, that just about wraps up another episode of Roll for Cake. If you liked the episode or you like the idea of the series, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. In the comment section, please give me some more cake ideas, flavor ideas, frosting flavors, things that you'd like to see, whether it's fun or wacky. That way I can update the board. Don't forget to check out my other videos that I do recipe by request, where if there's any recipes that you have been thinking of making, or if you want to know if it's any good, you send it to me and I make it for you. Just follow the link in my profile. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of Roll for Cake, and make sure you tune in for the next one. This is probably going to be the wackiest cake that we've ever made on the channel. We've made some weird ones, but this combination just sounds absolutely bonkers. We have a Biscoff tres leches, which sounds like a viral hit, but we're going to combine that with a pandan fudge. I have no idea how this is going to go. On paper, it sounds weird as fuck, but I'm super keen to try it and see how it goes. See you next week.